It was just past midnight in New York City when every screen, device, and satellite signal suddenly turned to static. Across the world, people froze phones, TVs, laptops, even digital billboards were filled with flickering noise. Confusion turned to fear, then the static cleared. A strange face appeared. It wasn't human. Skin shimmered like metal, eyes glowing deep blue. Behind it, stars twinkled through the window of what looked like a spacecraft. The voice that followed wasn't loud, but it echoed as if spoken inside every person's head. People of Earth, it began. You have been observed. You have been judged. You are dangerous. You will surrender within 72 Earth hours or be removed. Gasps echoed around living rooms. Newsrooms went silent. Soldiers stared at black screens in underground command centers. The message repeated once, then vanished. Every screen returned to normal. The world was never the same again. Within an hour, world leaders gathered in emergency meetings. Underground bunkers opened. Military bases launched into high alert. In Washington, D.C., President Elena Martinez stood in the war room, hands clasped behind her back. Her face was pale, eyes cold. With focus, "They gave us 72 hours, she said.
Ow.
What they don't know is, we've been preparing. High above Earth, hidden in orbit behind the shadow of the moon, a secret satellite began transmitting a single encrypted code. The signal traveled deep underground beneath Antarctica. There, under miles of ice and steel, an ancient facility rumbled to life. Inside it, something stirred. Project Aegis had been a secret for decades. Buried from the world, unknown even to most governments, it was humanity's answer to the day the stars came calling. A defense protocol unlike any other. Not a missile, not a bomb, but a being. Aegis, half human, half machine. All vengeance inside its chamber, Aegis opened its eyes. Bright golden light filled the room. Sensors scanned the environment. Voice. Logs played. Activation level green. Threat code. Galactic origin. Time remaining, 71 hours, 34 minutes. Aegis sat up slowly. Its body was humanoid, but far from normal. Silver skin rippled like liquid armor. Mechanical muscles moved with human smoothness. A glowing arc pulsed in its chest. On its back were 2 weapon cores, humming quietly, waiting. For battle? Why now? Aegis asked, voice calm and cold. A female voice replied, Dr. Mira Lang, the scientist who helped create it. Her voice came through a speaker near the chamber. Because the threat is real, she said. It's time. To defend Earth, Aegis stepped forward. The floor responded, opening doors and activating lights ahead of it. As it walked, its systems ran calculations, scanning the alien message. It's analyzing voice patterns. It's comparing it with decades of hidden data. They weren't bluffing. Aegis stopped in front of a giant metal door marked Alpha Hangar. As it opened, it revealed a chamber the size of a stadium. Rows of unmanned drones, defense walkers, and warships waited in the dark. Each one was built with stolen alien techs, salvaged from crash sites the public never knew about. The war had already begun. Earth just hadn't seen the battlefield yet. Back on the surface, chaos ruled the cities. People protested. Others prayed. Some boarded private ships, hoping to flee to Mars colonies. But no one could hide. The threat was from beyond the stars. At the United Nations Emergency Assembly, leaders shouted at each other. Some begged for surrender. Others demanded retaliation. General Kato Yamura of Japan slammed his fist on the table. If we surrender, we are slaves. If we fight, we have a chance. President Martinez agreed. I won't let them take Earth, she said. Even if we have to show them what humans do when pushed. The room fell silent. Then the screen behind her lit up. A single image appeared, Aegis, walking into a launch pod. The generals stared. What is that? Asked a French commander. Our answer, Martinez said. Down in the Antarctic base, the launch countdown began. Flames shot from the base of the silo. With a roar, the pod lifted, breaking through ice and clouds, rising high into the sky. Aegis was on its way to Earth's orbit. Its mission: scan the alien warship, assess threat level, and prepare counterstrike options. But as it reached low orbit, Aegis paused. Something wasn't right. Sensors flared. Another signal had activated, but it wasn't human. High above, just outside Earth's gravity well, a dark shape began to appear. At first, it was invisible, cloaked, but as light from the sun caught its edge, a massive outline formed. A ship, no a fortress, thousands of meters wide, covered in glowing panels, strange towers, and a massive cannon at its center. The Galactic Council had sent more than a message. They had sent an enforcer. Inside the council ship, the alien from the message stood watching. Beside it was a six-limbed creature in armor, operating strange controls. Earth has deployed a protector, the creature said. The alien leader's lips curled. Primitive, predictable. Begin the test. Below, Aegis's systems screamed alerts. Beams shot from the ship's underside, cutting through the clouds. It didn't hit a city. It hit a satellite array. The network collapsed. Earth's communication grid staggered. Power in half of Europe flickered. GPS systems failed. Planes turned back. Aegis shot forward. Aegis shot forward, streaking toward the ship. It fired a pulse high energy, low impact, designed to scan the hull. The pulse bounced off. No data. Unknown. Alloy, Aegis said. No known weaknesses. Engaging secondary protocol, it opened its back core. Twin blades formed from its arms. Plasma burned down the edges. G dove straight at the ship, breaking Mach 8 as it screamed toward its target. But then light. A white flash. A blast of energy. Aegis was hit mid-dash flight. It spun, stabilized, recovered. But it was clear the ship was not only a threat, it was superior. Still, Aegis pushed forward. If it could disable the weapon systems or breach a hangar, Earth might have a chance. But just as it prepared to strike again, the alien ship began to shift. Panels rotated. Cannons turned. A voice entered Aegis's mind. Asterisk, asterisk, cease. You are outmatched. The sky above Earth was quiet again. Alien warship had vanished into cloaked orbit. But its message and its warning still echoed across the planet. Cease. You are outmatched. This is your only warning. In orbit, Aegis hovered silently. Its outer shell, scorched from the beam attack, steamed as it cooled. Its systems were running emergency diagnostics. Inside its core, energy fluctuated, barely stable. From Earth Command, Dr. Myra Lang watched Aegis through a secure satellite. Feed. She clenched her fists. Aegis, do you read me? A pause. Then, through the static came a calm reply. Mission partially successful. Alien vessel assessed. Defense capability. Extreme. Outcome. We are not ready. Inside the base, under Antarctica, the Aegis control room lit up with red alerts. Code flashed across monitors. Engineers scrambled. Scientists stared in disbelief at the ship scans. The alien vessel was layered with quantum armor. It had weapons Earth had no names for. One cannon could destroy a continent in seconds. General Calderon leaned forward. Then it's war, he said. Mira shook her head. No. If we launch now, we lose. We need to finish the upload. The room went silent. Everyone looked at the central monitor. A line of code blinked. Aegis protocol. 91% complete. Years ago, Project Aegis was designed as Earth's last line of defense. It was built from scraps of alien tech recovered from crashes, ancient ruins, and intercepted signals. But Aegis wasn't. Just a machine it was learning. It needed time to grow, to adapt. The final part of the protocol was something special. It was human, the last 9%. Of the code came from Earth's most classified source, the Omega Minda, brain-computer hybrid, designed to give Aegis intuition, emotion, an unpredictable human. Decision-making, a soul. Mira looked at Calderon. We upload it now, or Aegis will never win. The general hesitated. The Omega Mind had never been tested. If it merged wrong, it could corrupt Aegis. or make it turn. Still, Earth had no choice. Do it, Calderon said. In orbit, Aegis floated above the clouds, scanning Earth's surface. It watched power grids flicker, cities fall into confusion, and the chaos spreading across the planet. Riots? Fear? The people were cracking. Earth was not ready for an alien war. A surge of energy pulsed in Aegis's chest. New code received. Inside its neural matrix, the upload began. Lines of data streamed into its brain, fast and hot. Emotions, memories, strategies. Thoughts that didn't come from machines. It saw flashes. Childhood memories from someone else's life. Laughing at the beach. Running through rain. Holding a hand. Then fear. Fire. Screams. War. Aegis staggered in the sky. Its systems blinked. Who? Am I? It said aloud. The upload was working, but something else had changed. It began to feel back in Washington. President Martinez stepped into the Pentagon war room. Dozens of screens showed different parts of the world. Protests, fires, fighter jets launching. The alien ship scan hovered at the center. She turned to her team. What's the council's goal? An intelligence officer replied. To test us? Humiliate us. Force surrender before invasion. Martinez pointed at Aegis's orbit path. What's ours? No one spoke. She answered herself. To show them Earth won't kneel. In the Antarctic base, Aegis's core chamber started to glow brighter. The AI's body hummed as power surged through it. It stood upright, faster, more confident. The upload was complete. Aegis. Mira asked over the coms. Do you feel different? Pause. Yes, Aegis replied. I see the world not just as code, but as something worth saving. Myra. Smile. Good. Because it's time you met your target again. New orders arrived. Aegis was to board a stealth cruiser and launch toward the alien ship's outer perimeter. No attack, just observation, intel gathering, and if possible, contact. If they were lucky, they'd find a weak spot. As the launch platform opened, Aegis stepped into the cruiser. It sat in the pilot's seat, placing its hand over the neural link. Suddenly, dash boom. Explosions rocked the base. Alarms screamed. Outside, smoke billowed from the southern hangar. Sabotage, someone yelled. We have intruders. Mira's eyes widened. The traitor. Security footage showed a group of masked figures breaching the base with alien weapons. Plasma rifles. Energy blades. Their armor shimmered cloaking devices, untraceable movements, council agents. Earth had been infiltrated. In the corridors, soldiers engaged them. Gunfire echoed through the tunnels. Aegis turned its head, sensing danger. A door burst open, too. Attackers entered the launch bay, aiming at Aegis. To slow with blinding speed, Aegis moved. One attacker flew across the room, his weapon crushed. The other fired blue plasma shot through the air, but Aegis deflected it with his arm, stepped forward and struck once. Silence. Bodies fell. Mira's voice shouted through the speaker. Go, Aegis. Get to orbit. They're trying to stop the mission. The cruiser's engines roared. Aegis launched into the sky once again, leaving flames behind, as it passed through the stratosphere. Aegis turned its eyes toward the stars, toward the alien ship, toward its enemy. I am Earth's defender, it said to itself, and I have only just begun. Far above, the council ship pulsed with quiet energy. Inside, the alien leader stared at a new report. Subject Aegis. Evolution detected. Human code breach. Confirmed. Prediction models failing. The alien clenched. Its claws. They've awakened it. Another alien creature hissed beside it. Should we destroy it now? The leader paused. No, let it come, he smiled. Let's see what humanity's machine soul is really capable of. The silence in space was endless. Cold, empty, but near Earth's orbit. A storm was coming. Aegis floated just above the dark side of the planet. Its systems were active, fully synced with Earth's last line of defense. It watched the stars. It listened to the frequencies. And then it heard a sound, not radio, not light, a ripple in reality, the kind only something alien could make. Suddenly the stars shifted, a patch of space warped and folded like crumpled paper. Then appeared the Enforcer, the Galactic Council's true weapon. It wasn't as big as the main ship, but it didn't need to be. This wasn't a command center, it was a hunter. Its design was smooth, almost alive, like a giant black blade wrapped in armor. Red lights pulsed along its spine, and something inside it moved fast, heavy, and dangerous. Aegis locked on. New contact, it said. Class unknown. Threat level critical. The Enforcer turned toward Earth, its engines flaring purple-blue. One scan beam fired, reaching all the way to the surface. Towers died. Satellites blinked out. Electric grids crackled. In Moscow, people screamed as lights flickered. In Tokyo, train systems froze mid-track. Even military bases lost connection for a full 5 seconds. 5 seconds of pure vulnerability. Earth was under threat again. In the Pentagon war room, chaos unfolded. They've deployed a weapon. A technician shouted. President Martinez narrowed her eyes. Where is Aegis? Tracking it now. He's moving in. Aegis launched toward the Enforcer at full speed. The distance closed fast. Inside its neural core, Aegis ran battle simulations thousands per second, but none of them looked good. The Enforcer moved like no machine ever seen. Its energy output was off the charts. Still, Aegis didn't stop. It spoke aloud. Earth must see. I will not back down. As it approached, the Enforcer finally moved. Its shape shifted, sections of its body split open like metal wings. Long limbs with blade-like edges extended. It had no eyes, no face, only sensors and weapons. It spoke in a voice that echoed through. Aegis's systems, synthetic defender. You are in error. Cease or be dismantled. Aegis didn't answer. It charged forward. The two collided with a flash of light, so bright that half the Earth could see it in the night sky. People thought it was a meteor. They had no idea it was a war. The first clash was brutal. Aegis struck with twin plasma blades. The Enforcer blocked with an energy shield that bent space itself. Then it lashed back. An energy whip wrapped around Aegis's leg and hurled him across the sky. Aegis tumbled, stabilized, and launched a missile from its back core. Hit confirmed. The explosion lit up space, but when the smoke cleared, the Enforcer was still floating, unharmed. It rushed forward with speed faster than light. Literally bending time for a second and rammed Aegis hard in the chest. Alarms screamed inside Aegis's body. Power dropped. Outer armor cracked. Damage, 28%. Adapting, Aegis's core burned brighter. Changed fighting style, switching to adaptive mode. The Omega Mind inside it analyzed the Enforcer's movements. Predictive attack pattern established, Aegis said. Counter initiated. This time when the Enforcer slashed, Aegis ducked, rolled, and struck upward, cutting deep into the alien weapon's side. Sparks, damage, a scream. The Enforcer was not invincible. Earth had hope below. In the secret Antarctic, Base Mira Lang watched the battle live through satellite link. She leaned forward, whispering, "Come on, come on." General Calderon stood beside her. "He's adapting," the general said. "Faster than we predicted." "He's thinking like us now," Mira replied. "That's the Omega Mind at work." A sudden explosion filled the screen. Aegis was thrown back again, this time through a derelict satellite, which shattered into glowing debris. Pieces rained down toward the atmosphere. Aegis caught himself mid-spin and fired an energy net. The Enforcer was caught briefly. Aegis charged. He tackled the alien weapon full force, and both of them fell, spiraling toward Earth at 60,000 feet. They separated. The Enforcer stopped its fall and hovered in place. Aegis descended rapidly, crashing into the upper atmosphere. Heat flared around him. Fire lit the sky. He disappeared into the clouds. The world watched. Then silence. Had he fallen? Somewhere over the Pacific Ocean, a massive splash lit the waves. Aegis hit the ocean hard, but survived. Barely. He sank for a moment. Systems flickering. Then slowly his body rose from the water. He stood, chest sparking. Armor dented but alive. In orbit, the Enforcer didn't follow. It hovered, watching. And then it turned and vanished in a blink of light. Gone. Aegis's voice echoed through Earth's command. I survived. Target retreated. Mission ... partially complete. At the UN Crisis Assembly, leaders gathered again. This time, the tone was different. They didn't destroy him, one ambassador said. They could have, another replied. President Martinez stood. They were testing us. Testing him, she said. They know we have a defender now. Defender who doesn't give up. A silent pause followed. Then General Calderon walked forward. I suggest we send a message of our own, he said. The president nodded. Prepare the global broadcast. An hour later, every screen on Earth lit up. But this time, it was human voices speaking. President Martinez stood before the camera, serious but calm. To the Galactic Council, she said, we received your threat. We saw your enforcer. We answered no. This Earth does not kneel. We defend what's ours. You want submission? She paused. You'll find resistance. The transmission ended. Aegis, standing on the ocean's surface below the stars, listened in silence. The wind blew gently. Then his voice came low, steady, and filled with something new. Pride. Let them come. A cold wind howled across the icy cliffs of Antarctica. Beneath the surface, buried deep in solid rock, Earth's most secure facility buzzed with tension. Project Aegis had survived the Asir's enforcer, but not without cost. Repairs were underway. Engineers worked around the clock, welding, coding, patching. Aegis stood in a stasis chamber, silent, its armor cracked, its chest pulsing with fading light. It needed time to heal, and while Earth's machine defender rested, something else stirred. Something darker, something human, inside a restricted zone of the base. Sector Delta security alarms flashed briefly, then went dark. No one noticed. That was the plan. A man in a gray technician suit moved quickly through the hall, his ID tag flickering with static. His face was calm, eyes cold. He passed two guards, nodded, and slipped through a sealed door. Inside, he pulled out a small black device no bigger than a coin. Alien tech. He pressed it against a console. The screen glitched. Upload initiated. Far below, firewalls dropped. Someone was breaching Aegis's core. In the command center, Mira Lang yawned over a stack of reports. She hadn't slept in days. Her mind kept replaying the battle between Aegis and the Enforcer, frame by frame, attack by counterattack. Every part of her whispered one truth. The war was far from over. A junior officer stepped up behind her. Dr. Lang. We detected a low-frequency data leak. Could be a glitch. She sat upright. Where? Sector Delta. Storage. Wing. Her eyes widened. That's where the Omega Mine backups are kept. Mira didn't wait. She ran. In the hidden sublevels, the technician worked fast. Files were copying. Crypted personality data, predictive combat logs, classified protocols. All being funneled into his device. He was calm, efficient, until he heard footsteps. Then a voice. Step away from the console. He turned. Mira stood in the doorway, her hand trembling on a security baton. She wasn't a soldier. She wasn't even armed properly. But her voice was clear. I said, step away. The man smiled. You're too late, Doctor. With one tap, he triggered a lockdown. Steel shutters dropped around the room. Lights flickered red. Mira lunged. He was faster. He struck her hard in the stomach enough to knock her down. Her badge clattered to the floor. You should have stayed out of this. He picked up his device and turned toward the emergency escape. Hatched behind a hidden panel, that's when the wall exploded. Aegis, still damaged, still scarred. But awake, he walked into the room, eyes glowing. Unauthorized access detected, he said. The traitor didn't hesitate. He threw the alien device like a grenade, its core spinning with blue sparks. It struck Aegis in the chest. EMP burst. Aegis stumbled, systems flashing. The walls cracked from the force, but he stayed standing. He looked at the man with new understanding. You are human, but you are not with us. The man backed away. His voice was sharp. The council promised peace. Bring war. They were right to stop Earth's foolish resistance. Mira groaned, crawling toward the wall. Aegis raised his arm. Then you made the wrong choice. Pulse beam fired. Non-lethal. The man collapsed instantly. Later in the base's prison, wing. Mira stood beside the glass cell where the traitor lay unconscious. General Calderon arrived with a security team. You were right, Mira said. They got to someone on the inside. Calderon looked grim. Council loyalists. We suspected there were cells forming in secret. People who believe surrender is better than extinction. Mira stared through the glass. He tried to steal the Omega Mind data. If he got it off-world, we'd be feeding Aegis's secrets to the enemy, Calderon finished. We got lucky, but Mira wasn't satisfied. If he's just one, there could be more. Calderon nodded slowly. We'll start a full scan. Triple security protocols. No one gets near Aegis without clearance. She looked at him. And we need to warn Aegis. Someone wanted to control him, or corrupt him. Aegis was no longer just a machine. He was becoming something more. Something. Alive. And that made him a target. In the repair bay, Aegis stood still as new armor plating was installed. He watched the footage of the attack over and over. He paused it at one frame. The traitor's face. Frozen. Aegis whispered. He believed Earth should bow. But what he did was cowardice. His voice grew darker. Trust has been broken. Earth is vulnerable. Not only from above, but from within. He walked to the edge of the platform, looking out over the horizon beyond the ice. Myra entered, limping slightly. You saved me, she said softly. Aegis didn't turn. I calculated the outcome. Your survival was necessary. She smiled faintly. You mean you didn't want me to die? He said nothing. Mira stepped closer. You've changed since the Omega Mind completed. Your thinking, feeling. Aegis finally turned. I was designed to adapt, to understand humans, but now I am partly human. He looked into her eyes, which means I must also understand betrayal. Mira nodded. We'll protect you and Earth. Together. Pause. Then Aegis looked upward. The enforcer left.
What?
Not in defeat. It's gathering data, preparing the next test. She frowned. They are not just invading, they are measuring us, calculating when we'll break. He clenched a metal fist. I will not let them find that moment. Meanwhile, deep in the void between Earth and Mars, the Council's enforcer floated silently. Beside the main command vessel, inside, the Council members gathered. They replayed the battle, analyzed every movement, every decision. One alien cloaked in shadow hissed, the human machine should not have survived. Another replied, it has evolved, beyond what we predicted. The supreme voice of the Council spoke at last. Then we escalate. A new screen flickered on. It showed two more enforcers, larger, more advanced, not scouts, not hunters. Executioners. The Council leaders stared at Earth's blue dot in the distance. Let them celebrate their small victory, it said. And then we erased their hope. The night sky over South America was clear and silent. Stars shimmered, unaware of the horror about to descend. Then something broke the silence. A flash, rumble. Two massive streaks of light tore through the upper atmosphere, bright enough to wake people from their sleep, set off car alarms, and trigger global satellite warnings. The executioners had arrived. They weren't fast like the enforcer. They were heavy, slow-moving, because they didn't need speed. Their presence alone was enough to bring fear. One hovered high above the Pacific, blocking sunlight from a whole stretch of ocean. The other stationed itself over Europe, casting a shadow over entire cities. Earth saw them, and Earth panicked. In the United Nations Emergency Chamber, voices rose. Arguments, demands. Fear. President Martinez stepped to the podium. They sent 2 more, she said. Larger, more dangerous. We believe they're final stage weapons. The council is finished with warnings. General Calderon stood beside her. They've parked themselves over strategic zones, power grids, orbital launch points, command satellites. A man from the UK shouted, "Why aren't they attacking?" "Because," Mira Lang answered, stepping into the room, "they're letting us feel fear first." She looked around the chamber. "They want to break our will before they break our world." He just stood on the edge of a space elevator platform. He was watching one of the executioners through a zoomed lens. It didn't move, just hovered. Its body looked like a floating fortress, black, jagged, glowing with a sick green energy from its core. On each side were panels, like wings that rotated slowly in the vacuum. "Analysis," Aegis said. "Executioner class, confirmed. Weapon capacity, planetary scale." A voice came through his link Mira. "We're trying to figure out why they're not making the first move." "They are," Aegis replied. "By not moving, they're forcing us to choose between surrender and death. That's a move." Paused. "But I won't let them strike first." He stepped forward onto the magnetic launcher pad. "I'll go to them." Global Command scrambled. Half the world begged Aegis not to approach. Too dangerous. Too soon. But Aegis had made his decision. He launched from the platform, shooting into orbit with full burn, glowing like a meteor. In minutes, he reached the first executioner. It didn't react. He hovered, staring at it. "Aegis to Earth Command," he said. "No signs of energy buildup. It's ignoring me." Then the executioner's core shifted. Lights moved. Symbols crawled across its surface like alien code, and then it spoke. Not through words, but through thought. It entered Aegis's mind directly. "You are not ready," Aegis reeled. The voice echoed inside him, cold and ancient. "You invade. You threaten. And now you test me," Aegis said aloud. "I will not let Earth fall." The voice responded, "You are not Earth. You are a machine. You are our tool gone rogue." Aegis's core pulsed. "I chose Earth." He fired his first shot, a concentrated plasma beam, direct to the executioner's outer armor. No effect. Then the executioner moved. It opened. The panels unfolded. Inside, a black hole-like core pulsed. A gravitational wave hit Aegis like a tidal force, flinging him across orbit. He smashed into debris. Stabilized. Charged back to Earth, watched the live feed. Billions of eyes. All breathless. Aegis dodged a second pulse. He got close. Too close. And that's when the executioner released its true weapon. Solar lance, a concentrated beam of compressed star energy, fired from its core. It cut across space. Like a divine sword, Aegis barely escaped. But Earth was hit, not directly, but close enough. A decommissioned space station vaporized. Shockwaves disrupted communication satellites. For 3 minutes, Earth lost GPS, internet, and defense links in the command center. Chaos exploded. "They're not just here to intimidate," Calderon said. "They're lining up for orbital dominance," Myra whispered, and that was just one of them. Far above Europe, the second executioner finally moved. It dropped a beacon. The beacon entered the atmosphere fast, small, glowing. It landed in a barren field in northern Poland. The ground cracked. Machines beneath the Earth, planted by Council spies, years ago, came online. The second front had begun. Not just in space, but now on Earth itself. Aegis returned damaged. Burning, but alive. He landed in the Pacific, steam rising from his armor. "I couldn't break its defense," he said. Mira appeared on the screen. "But you survived." "Barely." He looked up. "They're waiting for us to strike first, so they can justify wiping us out. They want to trigger a panic, force a global mistake." He stood up. I won't give them that. In orbit, the two executioners powered up again. Earth had 48 hours. That's what the Council had given. A timer appeared on every screen on the planet. Deliver your surrender or face extinction. 48-0. Oh, the countdown had begun. The countdown clock ticked across every screen on Earth. 47 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds. 47 hours, 59 minutes, and 58 seconds. People gathered in homes, shelters, churches, and government bunkers. Some prayed, some prepared. Some simply stared at the skies. Above them, two executioners floated silent gods of destruction. Waiting, on Earth, inside the core command bunker buried beneath Iceland, Dr. Myra Lang paced in a circle, hands shaking. Her voice cut through a room full of generals and scientists. We have 48 hours left. The next time those executioners open fire, it won't be a warning. General Calderon folded his arms. So what are you saying? That we give up? No, Mira said, turning sharply. I'm saying it's time we use the last card we've been keeping hidden. A silence swept across the room. One of the tech officers looked up nervously. You mean the final protocol? Calderon's eyes narrowed. You said it was only theoretical. Mira walked to the center console. She tapped a holographic control pad. A sphere rose from the floor, a glowing silver orb, humming with unreadable symbols. This is Project Echelon. It's not a weapon. It's a last chance. The lights dimmed. A rotating model of Earth appeared, then split open to reveal a hidden layer beneath its crust. What you're about to see, Mira said, has never been shown to any government. Years ago, before Aegis was even complete, Earth had feared. This day would come. Scientists created a protocol for the worst-case scenario, Project Echelon, a global network of dormant energy nodes, buried deep under tectonic plates hidden in the planet's structure. Each node pulled raw geothermal, magnetic, and dark energy from Earth's core. Alone, they were harmless together. They could generate a planetary defense shield, one that even executioners couldn't breach. There was only one problem. We've never tested it, Mira said quietly. We don't know what turning it on will do. Could protect us. Or fry the entire planet. Calderon stared at the globe. And Aegis? Can he control it? Mira nodded. His Omega Mind is the only system with the processing power to stabilize it. Then let's ask him. Inside his repair chamber, Aegis stood in full armor, now polished, restored. Scarred but ready, Mira approached. He turned. You want to activate Echelon, you know about it. I know everything, Aegis replied. I was designed with its codes burned into my neural core. Myra stepped closer. Can you control it? Can, but it will require me to connect directly to Earth's magnetic heart. And Aegis paused. I may not survive. Myra's breath caught. But you're not even human. He looked at her. Then why do I feel afraid? Hours passed. Aegis stood atop the Greenland core access pillar, where the northernmost Echelon node had been hidden for years. The wind howled. The metal beneath his feet trembled with rising power. Below the first node awakened, it glowed blue. Then another. Across the planet, deep underground, entire mountains shook as dormant. Energy surged to life. Aegis opened his arms. Mira's voice came through his link. We're seeing stable flow across all nodes. But pressure is rising fast. I am beginning synchronization, Aegis replied. He lowered his head, and then he plunged his metal hand into the node core. Power exploded upward. His eyes flashed white. Mira. The monitors spike into the red. His systems are overloading. But Aegis held on. He was no longer a soldier. He was now a bridge between Earth's mind and its fury around the world. The skies began to shimmer. A global aurora, rings of energy formed above cities. Invisible domes of light wrapped around population. Zones, storms vanished. Satellites stabilized. Every device on Earth flickered, then calmed. The shield was active in orbit. The executioners paused. They scanned the change. They didn't like what they saw. One began to charge its solar. Lance again. Earth's shield shimmered, The executioner fired. The beam struck the planet's surface, then bent. It curved away like water on glass. The shield held, inside the command bunker. People cheered. Some cried. Calderon slammed his fist on the table. "We're still in the fight." But Mira wasn't smiling. She looked at Aegis's vitals. He was dying. Too much power. His neural system was fraying. She ran from the room. In the Greenland pillar, Aegis collapsed. To one knee, his voice crackled. "Systems degrading. Cannot hold much longer." Mira burst into the chamber. Ice bit at her skin. "You're not dying here," she screamed. She ran toward the core. "Toward him, no," Aegis said weakly. "You can't touch the node. You'll be vaporized. I don't care." She reached him. Her hand brushed his shoulder. A spark of energy leapt from him into her. For a moment, just a moment, she saw everything. The executioners, the council's hive minds, the ancient war before Earth even existed. She gasped, falling back. Aegis caught her. "You saw it," he said. She nodded, eyes wide. "They're not just here to wipe us out," she whispered. "They're here to test whether Earth is evolved enough to join their galactic empire or be erased." Aegis looked into the sky. "Then they've made a mistake. We are more than evolved." He pulled himself upright. He sent a final pulse through the echelon system, redirecting excess energy into his own core. The light dimmed, stabilized. He survived. But now, he wasn't just Aegis. He had merged with Earth's energy, and something inside him had awakened. Far above, inside the executioners, alarms rang in alien tones. Aegis's energy signature had changed. It now matched something ancient, something the council feared. They sent a signal into deep space, a warning. "The Earthborn has awakened. We require authorization for full cleansing." Earth, Aegis stood beside Myra as the skies glowed with auroras. "You're different," she said. "I am," he replied. "What happens now?" Aegis looked toward the stars. "Now we stop waiting," he turned to her, "and we take the fight." To them, the moon had always been silent, still watching Earth from a safe distance. Not anymore. Now it was alive. On its far side, hidden from Earth's view, the Galactic Council had built the Moon Forja, giant alien factory, buried in ancient craters. Using stolen moon rock and dark energy, it was the place where the executioners were made, where something worse was being built. Myra Lang stared at the new satellite data. Her hands trembled. "It's not just a forge," she said. "It's a portal gate." General Calderon leaned forward. "A gate to where?" She swallowed hard. "To the Council's home system. They finish it, they can send their entire fleet in seconds." The room went silent. Then Aegis stepped forward, glowing faintly with the Earth's energy still running through his armor. "Then we destroy it," he said. The moon mission had no name, no emblem, no flag. There was no time. For that, a dozen advanced fighters built secretly over the last 5 years were pulled from hangars in Nevada, Brazil, and Siberia. These weren't space shuttles. They were Earth's first battle-class spacecraft. Each pilot had trained for a mission they never thought would happen now. They were humanity's first space warriors. The operation had one goal: infiltrate the Moon Forge, disable the gate, destroy the structure from the inside, and survive. Possible. Aegis would lead. He didn't need a ship. He was one. The launch happened just before dawn. Jets of fire, trails of smoke. 12 ships broke Earth's upper atmosphere with Aegis, flying just ahead, like a blade of silver light. Earth watched. Billions. Silent, praying. Aegis opened a comlink to all pilots. "You've been told this is a one-way mission? That's not true." He paused. "It's a message to the stars. Won't be conquered. We are not afraid." His eyes burned with light. "We are defenders." The ships moved faster, engines howling into the black. The moon rose ahead. They reached lunar, orbited in under 4 hours. The far side came into view, and then they saw it. The moon. Forge, it wasn't a building. It was a city, towers of black metal. Stretched from crater to crater, connected by pulsing red tubes of alien power, strange machines crawled over its surface like insects. Lightning storms danced above the forge despite the moon having no atmosphere. In its center, the gate core, a giant, spinning disk of metal and light hovering above a crater the size of a country, one pilot whispered. It's alive. Then the forge saw them. Alarms lit up in crimson flashes. The sky above the moon opened, and dozens of small fighter drones burst out like hornets from a hive. Aegis shouted, "All units. Evasive pattern Alpha. Protect the bombers." The moon battle began. Explosions echoed in silence. Missiles twisted through vacuum trails. Alien drones fired beams that sliced through rock and steel. Human ships returned fires lower, but smarter. Every pilot used every second of training. One by one, ships were hit. Two lost before the forge could even be breached. Aegis tore through the drones like a storm. His body spun, twisted. Firing high-intensity plasma bolts and slicing metal with energy blades formed from his arms. He cleared a path. The bombers dove into the forge's lower corridors. Inside, the alien metal shifted like a living organism. Walls moved. Doors closed. Turrets emerged from ceilings. But Earth's warriors didn't stop. They flew into the heart of the beast. Mira Lang watched from Earth, eyes wide, breath held. "Come on," she whispered. "Come on." Their charges multi-phase fusion warheads, built to crack the core of the gate. A timer appeared. 3 o'clock, 2:59, 2:58. Then the forge reacted. The gate pulsed and began pulling something through it. Mira screamed into the mic. "Abort. They're opening the portal. You'll be pulled in." But Aegis didn't stop. He raced ahead of the explosion. Countdown, and saw what was coming. Through the portal, the Council War Titan was forming larger than anything Earth had seen. A ship the size of a continent, covered in glowing spines and bone-like metal. It wasn't just a ship, it was alive. If it came through, Earth was done. Aegis made his choice. He dived into the gate core and released all of the echelon energy inside. Him from Earth, people saw it. The moon flared white blinding. A ring of light erupted across its surface. Then, silence, every signal went dark. The countdown timer vanished. Then, a voice crackled through the static. It was Aegis. "I'm still here." Myra collapsed into her chair. On the moon, the forge was gone. The gate destroyed. The War Titan gone with it, but so was Aegis, trapped. He was now floating inside a sealed energy pocket, left by the explosion, between space, between time, still alive but not able to return yet. Back on Earth, cheers turned into sobs. The skies were safe. For now, but Mira looked to the stars. "They'll send more," she whispered. "Worse." Calderon nodded grimly, but now they know. What happens when you corner Earth? She looked at the moon, still glowing faintly, and she knew. The final battle wasn't over, just delayed. The world had gone quiet. It wasn't peace. It was the silence that came before. Storm. A storm that had already left a message. One sentence, broadcast across every satellite radio tower. A Neuralink system on Earth. Your defiance has been noted. Prepare for erasure. The Galactic Council was no longer testing Earth. They were coming to end it. High above Earth, beyond the asteroid belt, an unnatural light opened in space. A rip like a wound in the universe, and through it came the final armada. Thousands of ships, living machines, bio-war carriers, planet strippers, council hive cores, each one pulsing with power beyond anything Earth had ever seen. Back in the Iceland command bunker, Mira Lang stared at the readings. 17 hive cores. She whispered. Over 300 executioners. Planetary-class titans. They're not holding back this time. General Calderon's voice was hard. How long? Mira didn't look up. 6 hours. A quiet panic spread through the bunker. Earth's defenses were strong, but nowhere near enough. The Echelon shield could hold. For maybe 2 hours, maybe 3, then nothing, unless they had a miracle. In the core pocket outside, time and space. Aegis floated in silence until he didn't. He opened his eyes. He wasn't alone. Before him stood another Aegis, but not quite. This one was older, wiser, worn down, like he had lived 100 lifetimes. The figure spoke. "You made it farther than I did." Aegis frowned. "Who are you?" "A version of you." The figure waved his hand, and hundreds of Earths appeared in floating glass orbs. Across the multiverse. "The Council has wiped out billions of Earths. Only a few of us made it this far." He just narrowed his eyes. "Then help me get back." Figure smiled. "That's why you're here." And in that timeless place, Aegis learned something no human had ever been taught. The true purpose of the executioners. The Council did not simply erase species. They absorbed them, harvested their minds, their memories, their potential, all to fuel a massive interstellar intelligence machine known only as the Root. But Earth was different. Humans were chaotic, wild, emotional, unstable, and that was their strength. No other species had it. No other world had fought back like this. Aegis stood. His armor flared. "I'm ready." The other version of him nodded and opened a door on Earth. 5 hours later, the skies cracked. The final armada arrived in orbit. Every city looked up in horror. Drones blackened the clouds. Energy pulses lit the heavens. Council war chants began to echo, beamed into every mind. Then, Aegis returned. He fell from the sky in a beam of blue light, crashing into Earth's surface like a meteor. When the dust cleared, he was changed. Stronger his armor glowed with new, glyphsentient scripts of other timelines. His voice echoed with power. Mira ran to him. "Is it really you?" Looked at her. "Let's end this." The Council's first strike shattered Earth's defense satellites. Then, the executioners came, hundreds of them. But this time, Earth was ready. From the oceans rose hidden sea fortresses. Antarctica launched its Skylances. Orbit mines detonated in waves. And in the middle of it all, Aegis flew alone against fleets. He split ships apart with energy blades, redirected solar beams with his core, but it wasn't enough. The hive cores were descending, and once they reached the surface, nothing would survive. Mira made the call. "Activate Omega Lock." In the depths of Earth, the Echelon nodes shifted, and for the first time in history, Earth's core itself joined the fight. Volcanoes erupted in unnatural patterns. Tectonic plates moved strategically. The Earth had become a weapon. The hive cores landed, and the planet struck back. Magma reverse swallowed Council walkers. Mountains exploded upward like missiles. Still, it wasn't enough. More ships poured through the rift. Aegis landed beside Mira, cracked and sparking. "We can't stop the flow." She looked up. "Then we closed the rift." He turned. "It would take every ounce of energy Earth has left." She nodded. "Oh, then let's give it everything." The final move began. Every Echelon node redirected power not to the shields, not to Aegis, but to the sky. They formed a singularity cannon, an unstable beam of compressed gravity and solar mass. One shot, no second chances. Aegis flew into space. Carrying the beam's core, the rift loomed ahead. Behind him, Earth crumbled. But the people stood. They cheered. Even in death, they would not beg. Aegis reached the rift. The final armada turned to stop him, but it was too late. He unleashed the core. It detonated with the force of a baby star. The rift collapsed. Every ship caught inside it was erased, not destroyed, but wiped from time, and then dashed silence. Total, cosmic silence. Earth held its breath. The sky is cleared. The remaining ships, leaderless, disconnected, drifted aimlessly, then began to fall or flee. The war was over. Aegis fell to Earth again, this time landing in a crater in what used to be Canada. Mira ran to him. Again he was fading. "I won't make it this time," he whispered. She grabbed his hand. "You don't have to." He looked at the rising sun and smiled, then faded into light. Years later, children would grow up learning about the man of metal who saved Earth, the one who stood alone against the stars, and became something more. A symbol. Guardian, a legend the world rebuilt, smarter, stronger, together, because they knew. The council might return, but next time, Earth would not just defend, it would lead.